Today's show is sponsored by Indie Film Hustle's Filmmaker Process. We provide filmmakers with professional services to get their films or series funded, finished, and distributed. For more information, go to filmmakerprocess.com. You did your time over at Buffy and Angel, then you jumped onto Smallville, which was also fairly kind of revolutionary of a show. I remember because it was, you're tackling one of the most famous characters in history. But it seemed like you guys had a ball just exploring all of those things in Clark Kent's and Superman's early life. That must have been a ball to be working on.
It was. It was completely different from the way we worked on Buffy and Angel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, this goes back to my Jeff Loeb, who I'd met through Joss on Buffy and Angel. He was working with Miles Miller and Al Goff, who created Smallville. And he was over there on Smallville, and he was trying to get me to come over. So I came over and interviewed with him and really liked the guys and ended up going over there. Smallville was interesting. Obviously, it's a different animal in many ways. Smallville was much more hard on your sleeve, earnest than Buffy and Angel. And also with Smallville, you had all the Superman mythology, and you had to get the approval of the feature side to bring in characters. Like I remember Alan Miles always wanted to bring in Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah, I always wondered that. And was it true that they couldn't wear the cape? Like the cape was not allowed?
Like the
suit.
Didn't want him in the suit.
Right.
Yeah. Not until I think that very last shot. Mm-hmm. And my time on Smallville was I had a blast. I also look at I was doing a lot of writing on the scripts, and every year, like fan sites would put like the top 5 episodes in the worst 5, and I was always in both. It was like I was always, and they were completely right. I did some really shit episodes that haunt me to this day. I always joke about the exploding baby episode. There's an episode called Ageless where Clark and Lana find a baby that's rapidly in spurts getting older until it explodes.
I vaguely remember that episode. I remember because it was a horrifying imagery.
Yes, a horrifying episode. The funny story about that is I was in the room breaking this, and this was the first one that I was directing for them. I had directed 3 episodes of Angel. This was my first directing for Smallville. So we were in the room breaking my story, and I was very excited to tell this story about Kryptonite Zombies, which is basically LexCorp, a truck, classic like Return of the Living Dead setup. This LexCorp truck is transporting the radioactive sludge from their experiments with the kryptonite.
Obviously.
Through a rainstorm, the truck overturns and it leaks into a graveyard, and it's Kryptonite Zombies. And Clark is powerless against the Kryptonite Zombies. And they surround the farm, and they can't get out of the farmhouse, and he can't use his powers. And I was like, Kryptonite Zombies, now you're talking. This is my stuff. I go off to do a rewrite on another script. I come back in. I bump into Al in the hallway, and he goes, hey, we've changed your episode. Great news. This is a great story. Clark and Lana find a baby. And I'm like, the fuck just happened?
Where did the Kryptonite Zombies go?
Kryptonite Zombies. So we did that episode. It did not turn out well. I mean, through no one's fault except my own, because I just couldn't get my head around it. And I almost stopped directing then. I was supposed to direct the next season. I passed. I said, And then in the 3rd season, I directed the Justice League episode, Justice.
Yeah.
Which I felt like I kind of vindicated myself after the exploding baby episode. But it was great fun to work in that world, and everybody was. The actors were so wonderful on that show, especially Tom Welling. I can't say enough good things about Tom Welling. Mm-hmm. You would think that he would have a big head and be very difficult. Quite the opposite. I remember we were shooting in some gas station way out on the outskirts of Vancouver, And I'm sitting in my chair prepping for like the next scene, and he walks by with a sandwich, and he goes, "Hey, they have sandwiches. You want me to get you one?" I'm like, What star of a show does that? And he was gracious and wonderful all the way through the show. Just really, and Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex, brilliantly. What I loved about him, one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He would be telling this crazy story. He told some story about when he got into a fight and got knocked out. And we were literally in tears listening to him. It was so funny. And then they were ready to go to shoot the scene. And just like that, he becomes Lex Luthor. Like the opposite of a method actor. He could just switch from one to the other.
It's every time I see an actor do that on set, I in the back of my head I hear John Lovitz yell, "Acting!"
Yeah.
From the SNL skit, "Acting!" It's just
exactly.
It's so amazing to see them just on it. It's scary actually. Sometimes it's very off-putting when you could see, and I've seen them turn on the tears. Like they could turn tears on like water, and then they'll stop. And I'm like, "So when's lunch?" And I'm like, "Oh my God! Like how do you do that?" It's just remarkable.
I remember a story. I don't know if it was Al or Joss or who told me, working with an actor or an actress, and they needed her to cry, and she asked which eye do you want the tear to come out. And I'm like, Jesus, now that's a talent.
Oh yeah, that's I've worked with actresses like that. It's just remarkable.
It's amazing.
To watch the rest of this interview, head over to bulletproofscreenwriting.tv.